Verzeo, your one-stop solution to everything learning. 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 Verzeo, your one-stop.
Okay, a very good evening, everyone. How are you guys doing? It's Ajay Billav here from Verzeo, and I'm your host today. And I believe you have received agenda and mail for today's session. Before that, I want to get a quick update from you guys that everyone can hear me over YouTube. Can I get a quick cheer in the chat? Great. Hello, Pooja. How are you doing? Hi, Preeti. Hi, Saiti. Guys, if you can hear me, just let me know over a chat. Hi, Akil. How are you doing? Okay, great. So I believe audio and video, everything is fine. And if there is any lag or if you can't hear us, just let us know in between so that we can check it from the backend. Let's not waste further time. As I've told you, it's Ajay Billav here. I take care of was your operations part, and I would be your host for today's session. As yeah, as going further, as we have already informed you about the session, today's speaker we have Avisek Lahiri with us, and as you all know that the session gonna be on introduction to AI and research pathways. So basically why we have conducted this particular session is to make sure that you can gain much more knowledge about what you can do in your future if you want to go ahead with field related to artificial intelligence, or else if you want to work on your research papers or something like that. So that is the part. And introducing Mr. Abhishek Lahiri has completed his PhD in computer vision at IIT from 2016 to 2021. And initially he had interned at Cognizant Technology Solutions and ISRO during his college, and went on to work with many companies like Twitter, Facebook and Google. At present he is working in Google as research software engineer, and he holds a lot of certifications and licenses in his hand, like future of flight design contest and green aviation student contest, honors and awards, Qualcomm Innovation Fellowship, and Google India PhD Fellowship. And he has good experience in a lot of technologies, a lot of languages. Uh, and I think he would be a better person to provide a proper guidance, or else what exactly that you are looking for, what kind of pathway, or else what kind of roadmap that you can set for your future. All those things you can get it discussed. And coming back to today's session, we would be going ahead with the explanation and providing you the detailed knowledge about the topic that currently we'll be dealing with. And after that, at the end, we would be going ahead with 10 minutes or 15 minutes Q&A session for interactive communication with audience and with the mentor. So we will be going ahead with that. Let's not waste further time. I would be handing it over to Mr. Abhishek. Abhishek, all yours. You can take it further.
Okay. Thanks, Ajay, for the introduction. It's really nice to be here. It's really looking forward to this evening. Uh, so, uh, right. So, sorry. Good evening, everyone. It's nice to meet you. As already Ajay told that, yeah, currently I'm a software engineer at Google Research in the mission perception team. Uh, so yeah, that's me. It's first day at office. Quite happy, but today that's not the agenda. That today's agenda is we will try to see that as an undergraduate how to look ahead and step into research domain. That's what we are trying to look at today. So I've broadly categorized into like four parts how we can discuss this topic. Firstly, what are some of the related internships as undergrads that you can look forward to? What are some of the long-term contract-based research roles? How can you start working on research paper? And finally, how you can go about building a researchy portfolio per se. So those are kind of a stepping stones how you can get into research. Presently talking about Indian context because I did all my bachelor's, master's, and PhD from India. And just a quick disclaimer before we start. So whatever I speak out here, all my thoughts, so this is just my personal views, and it's got no component related to my employer. This is just my personal journey, and I wish to share the knowledge, and hopefully you get benefited uh, from that. Okay, so just to speak about my current work or what I do at Google, yeah. So I'm currently leading an effort where we are trying to synthesize avatars and synthetic mouth movements from audio. So this is our recent paper. So just as a demo, I thought of showing a little bit of demo to make things a little bit more interesting about what we do. Uh, uh, so the task is that we take input audio represented as spectrograms, and then from that audio, the task is either to predict face mesh, or you can predict some photorealistic texture, or you can also drive some cartoons based on audio. So it has got a lot of applications. Highly recommended if you feel interested. We have also released a demo video on YouTube, publicly available, so you can go and have a look. So I will just play 1 or 2 minutes just to get an idea what we go do there right now.
LipSync 3D, data-efficient learning of personalized 3D talking faces from video using pose and lighting normalization. We first show the output of our data normalization pipeline. We track the face in the video in 3D and stabilize it to produce frontalized geometry and texture. We further remove lighting variations from the texture, resulting in an albedo-like appearance. And blend the texture with the target to create a talking head video. We now show some results for audio-driven video dubbing, followed by comparisons with other approaches, and conclude by discussing applications.
We've got our test set.
I'd be up for it if you
Yeah,
have.
that's fine. So we do this kind of talking faces. So these are some of the cool demos which gets enabled because of this technology. I thought this might be more interesting to look at.
Something interesting.
Can we play this new game that I want to learn?
I can't promise that I'll be an expert at it and be able to help you get better with it, but at least we can have some fun.
Our textured
Then you can also create some 3D avatars in games. That's also a very cool application which gets leveraged by this technology.
face models can be used to create personalized 3D talking avatars.
Meanwhile, the dwarfs came out of the mine to find the sky had grown dark and stormy. Loud thunder echoed through the valleys, and streaks of lightning ripped the sky.
Then one evening they discovered a strange young man admiring.
Okay, so you get the basic idea. So we are trying to drive a lot of human faces or cartoons based on audio, and I'm currently leading one part of that at my current work at Google. So yeah, that's it. And so just talking about some of the internships which I have done, because that paves the way, and I think I will also show you like what was the strategy for doing that. So during my master's, I could get an internship at University of Southern California through the Viterbi India program, where I worked on action recognition in videos with Professor Ram Nevatia. And then I had a long history with Google, so I interned there twice and spent as a summer researcher for almost a year. So 2016, 19, and again in 20. So I had decent relationship with Google as an intern. And then in 2017, I visited Twitter, where I was working mainly on video super resolution. So video super resolution is that you have a low bandwidth internet, you send it low quality video, and then at your user end, you try to upsample that video so that you don't get the bad quality video. So you can perceive videos at high resolution, yet transmitting at low resolution. So that's on-device super resolution that I was working on at Twitter. And then at Facebook, I was really working on real-time human pose estimation. A pose estimation is something like you track the human skeleton points of a person. And then my task was to make it real-time on mobile devices. So my internship was based on that. Yeah, I did some history to get some of my photos. Yeah, due to this occasion, I could get back some of my photos. Yeah. And so I thought, like, before going into a research pathway, just to share my journey, if that helps to generalize to others, if that becomes helpful for anyone. So yeah, even during my BTech, I did a research thesis based on photonic crystals. Yeah, I was from electronics background initially, so I was mainly working on photonic crystals at that time. And then after GATE, I got into the MS program, was by research at IIT Kharagpur. So I tried to mainly focus on two parts initially. Like I kept a good GPA and then started working on papers. Why was it essential? It was essential to get some of the very good internships like Viterbi, as I told, which was a very prestigious internship. Then you have SN Bose. I'll talk about this later on. And also with these 2 points, it's also easier to get PhD admits and fellowships because I had a clear vision that I want to do PhD. So these 2 points kind of gives a good foundation for the later two cases. And also, I started interacting with industry people because you never know with mind changes. You should also. I also kept myself ready for industrial jobs in case the PhD doesn't work out. But I'm glad it worked out. I continued working with my professor. So again, there's an entrance exam at all the IITs. So for PhDs, you get that. And then during my PhD initial days, the three things which I think really helped me out was, yeah, initially I was very fortunate to get the Google PhD fellowship and also then followed it up with a Qualcomm fellowship. So what those two fellowships usually do, or not, so there are other fellowships also offered by TCS or IBM. So they actually bring you closer to the corporate people, and then there are chances of getting international internship offers, and then you can get chance to work with corporate research labs, even you're still entitled as a student. And then I also kept on applying to other platforms. Like I also got a HLF Young Researcher Award, which kind of is a summarization award that you get for doing good work at your PhD level. Um, so that's my journey. So to how I did reached up to PhD, and then when my PhD was on the brink of ending, I started writing my thesis. Then was the time of interview prep. You revisit your previous companies where we did internship. You revisit your mentors, and then balancing your preparation between software engineering and then research profile. So you need to. So when you graduate out as a PhD, there's this two tag of war because usually most of the companies have SWE interviews plus research interviews. So we need to prepare ourselves accordingly. So that's just my journey. So, but today we discuss like how can you also start this long, but I totally feel it's worth it journey, and I will share my few experiences and pointers on that. So that the first step, which I think as an undergrad, it's very, very tough to suddenly crack into research profiles. I completely understand that. I've gone through the process. So, but one of the a basic pathway for entering research is to get very good internships. So that's the most well-defined pathway to get into undergraduate research, because most of the internships at this level focus on academics, which is kind of expected as undergrads do well, and a less importance on what kind of prior research you have. And then you also get a chance to get international exposure to the best professors and research labs. So that's your founding stone. So I'll talk about internships first. Just give out some of the names. These are not exhaustive, but these are quite popular. Some of you might be knowing this. Anyways, I'm still sharing so that we are all on the same page. Now, my most favorite one is the Viterbi India internship. It's open for third year undergrads and first year master's student. I got, when I was at Kharagpur, I got it in my first year master's. For this, GPA is a criteria, so it's very straightforward to get. I said no nuisances here and there, like what kind of previous researchers or profile you have. If you have a good GPA, then this internship is a very straightforward path. You get to spend 8 weeks at University of Southern California with some of the best professors out there. The following is a similar pattern is the SN-BOST internship, again funded by IUSSTF, the same funding body for Viterbi India. This is more, this is a broader spectrum. This is more into like computational sciences, not just computer science. So this, I have seen also people from mechanical, chemical, or let's say civil during their department getting into this. Wherever you are applying computation and models to solve engineering problems, this involves for that. And then you have, I think some of you have heard about MyTech's internship. This is a very popular internship to spend your summer, it's probably summer, I might be wrong, at Canada. Again, you get to work with some of the best professors in Canada through this MyTech's program. And also, if you don't want to go so far into the West, NTU has this internship program called NTU India Connect. I hope you can see in the screen, or you can just Google it. They have several application windows, so feel free whichever suits you. But again, why this is good, because it again gives you chance to intern at one of the best universities in the world. NTU stands very high in terms of computer science and electronics ranking. This is a very, some of you might not know this. CMU also has Carnegie Mellon University. It's like one of the best that you get. And they have this Robotics Institute summer school where you can spend your summer working with their Robotics Institute. I have known many Indian students cracking into this program. And so it's also something to look forward to. Start your application towards end of December or something. If you're looking for the summer one, give the professors some time to assess your profile. But this is something you should keep in mind. And also, if you're more inclined into visiting Europe, the Starbuck exchange program is something also I found some of my friends cracking into. This gives you a chance to do research at universities at France. Again, all of these are undergrads, and to some extent masters, first year students are allowed. And then those were like very, very structured programs. And then there's the labs called ILMIA, MPI, and MILA. Maybe you have not heard it, but you can just scroll it up. There's some of the top-notch research conglomeration. And here the professors are like some of the best professors, and they are proactively hiring students, interns all throughout the year. So the best way out is to reach out to them with a good statement of purpose letter. If possible, try to get 1 or 2 recommendation letters and attach with your application when you reach out to them. But these are some of the pools of institute where it's more easier. I won't say the word easier, but there are more opportunities open than the other internships, which I said. And just to make things clear, sometimes when I speak about these internships, I get a feeling that, okay, this is just for IIT, IISc people. But trust me, I'm saying you from my own experience, it's not always the case. If you're having a good GPA, if you've done decent projects, if you're maintaining a good GitHub profile, let's say per se for INIA, MPI, let's say, there are a decent chance that even non-IIT people crack into this. So don't get boiled down that this is just meant for IIT grads. This is not true. As of now, things are really changing. So it's a good sign for the Indian engineering community at large. And well, I was mainly talking about foreign internships. Things, as I say, are becoming very nice. The summers are also an ideal time to spend a few months at our own IITs and triple IITs. Because nowadays a lot of professors are getting projects, funded projects, so they also seek to take undergrads as research interns in their labs during summers. So just keep an eye. I just posted some of the snapshots from IIT Delhi, Kharagpur, triple IIT Hyderabad. So these are not exhaustive, as you can understand, but to give you an idea, do reach out to professors as the IITs and triple IITs. That's also a very good chance to get into researchy environment to spend a summer. Right. And then, okay, so that goes into internships. Hopefully you take out some positive notes from there. Now, let's try to see how you can get into corporate research labs, because things, as I say, in India are becoming more and more friendly, conducive for research. Top companies are setting up their labs, and they're trying to tap in talents very early stage in their career, right? So things are becoming quite nice compared to when I was like 5 years back starting my PhD. Then researchy landscape in India was still developing, but now it's really, really maturing, and it's a good time to invest yourself in research domain. So just to break it up, again, short-term internships, research internships, as if you try as a student, you might be aware Google has opened up its recent research labs. So there is an official Google Research Bangalore team there. So you can check out the openings there. They do a lot of cool works, right from healthcare, computer vision, reinforcement learning, NLP, name anything they're doing under the hood. And then with talking out to students, like I said, broader spec, I should give out broader aspect also. You have Amazon's applied scientist internships offer internship positions. IBM Research has been hiring students as interns for a long time. I know Adobe is also a nice place for doing interns. Why I listed out these 4 companies? Well, I have a lot of friends. I know a lot of juniors. I read a lot of their papers. So I know that interns proactively work in this big research labs. And also, I understand this research labs, like everyone is trying to go and fill up the space. So it's very tough to crack there always. But my suggestion would be like also keep an eye open for a good performing startups or mid-sized companies, because you get to work on very emerging problems, more ownership of the jobs that you do, and then you can work under more uncertainty if you like that way. So there's some of the companies I'm throwing out the names. There's no any preferred order, but I see their posts over LinkedIn. I see they're doing really nice jobs like ShareChat, Misho, Swiggy, Zomato, Hyperverge. So these are some of the companies that I just find they're doing nice jobs. So you can keep an eye on them. And this might be a good stepping stone where you can do actual researchy jobs, because they want very real aggressive people to come and get their products out. So that's a good chance to also look at startups in India. And then there are these concepts coming up like long-term internships. This concept was there for some time in the US. It's now picking up pace in India also. Well, Google has launched this program, it's a Google Student Researcher Program. As I showed you in previous slide, I was myself a Google Student Researcher. So what it allows you to do is that you can still be a student, but work part-time, remotely or in office. That's a logistical issue, but you can still be a student and contribute as an intern. So there's a long-term collaboration, because it's a research project, right? It doesn't get solved in 2 months and 3 months. So this is a very good long-term collaboration, and it's an official program now from Google. Then Adobe has a similar kind of process also. I've read a lot of research papers from Adobe where interns are working there. They come out, go back to universities and continue the work. MSR, Microsoft Bangalore, has long-term internships. So if you're in a college which offers you, let's say, 1 semester break you can take to do internship, this is also a nice thing to try out. Or even if you can work with your undergraduate coordinators that, hey, I'm doing this part-time internship with this big tech labs, can I do that? So these are some of the things. When as a student, these are really golden opportunities to step into research, and some of the best big names here. And so this was going like when you have not graduated. Now I face a lot of question. Okay, what after graduation? There are not much research jobs immediately after graduation, right? I do agree to that. When I see the job details and requirements, I sometimes get myself afraid they want so many requirements. But yeah, things are again getting good. Trust me on that. Things are really becoming better for a research landscape. But if you just want, let's say you just graduated out as a good undergraduate student with still not so much about research experience, these are some of the programs you can look into. Again, Google has come up with something called Pre-Doc Researcher Program. So it basically, it's like a 1 year or 2 year contract program you spend your full time of this 1 or 2 years working at Google Research in any of the research projects. So it's like full time, but on a contract basis. It just gives you a good landing platform right after undergraduate, right? Because after undergraduate, it's tough, I agree, to get research jobs because you don't get so much of research exposure to really create impact going into corporates. But these are some of the well-curated programs that people are looking into. Microsoft Research Fellow, again, is a very coveted program. I've seen some very good students go there. And also, Tata Research also has started a similar line of pre-doc researcher program. Then FAIR or Meta AI residency program is there. You can go to New York or London or their Menlo Park office. So why these programs are good is that because you get to actually work on large-scale research problems. Those are not dummy problems that you solve, and in the process, you get connections with top professors, top universities. So it's good for your next pathway for MS or PhD, right? If you target for that, because you might graduate out of a undergrad with not so much of research experience. It's tough to get into, let's say, Stanford, MIT, or here, EPFL, where they see most of your, like, not just GPA, but your research experience also. So this is a very good landing ground to get the chance to get good recommendation letters and actually solving real problems with good impact publications. So usually I've seen students getting 1 or 2 high impact publications, and that really sets the tone for their direct PhD or MS admits at some of the top universities. So I think I could break it up into chunks like short-term internships, long-term internships, and these are like long-term contractual role. So these are some of the pathways as now. So this all things really shaped up in last 2-3 years, I would say. So that's why it's a new thing to share with you all, and hopefully some of you walk along this path. But what happens, like these are again super competitive, right? So what happens if it doesn't work out? Is it end of the story? But I would say really no. So how can you start research from within your university, right? So you can do that, right? In fact, personally, if you visit my Google Scholar, most of my works have been done with collaborating undergraduate and master's students. I see it as a win-win scenario. So the idea is like when you are doing coursework, try to build a good rapport with your favorite professor. By favorite, I would mean either the professor is good as a person you like, or the professor works on a field which you are quite interested with, right? And then like ask the professor to tag you with existing master's or PhD students, because in that way you get a high chance of getting a researchy BTech project instead of like doing the usual non-researchy projects like software development, if you're not interested in those. And then also the good thing is that you get a chance to get out high impact papers, right? So it's like you are completing your undergraduate, but with good papers, maybe you join first authorship or second authorship based on how much effort you're putting in. So that's a good way to start research within your university, right? Or you can reach out to other university professors also. Like, for example, you have done your summer internships at some of the IITs, you can collaborate and continue that work. That's also another pathway. Okay, so where do you, but well, here's the thing, like I said, some of your favorite research areas. So where do you start looking for favorite or current research trends? Like, so here's what I suggest, like identify 3 or 4 best conferences in your domain, right? If you're in computer vision, it will be CVPR, ICCV, and ECCV. If you're into machine learning, it will be ICLR, NeurIPS, ICML. If you're into data science, it will be SIG-KDD, right? So, and when you figure out this good conferences, try to see what the recent workshops are, because workshops are the platforms where the bold new ideas are described and the topics which are gaining interests are being talked upon. So, and all these workshop topics are highly screened, right? So the selection committee feels that this new topic needs to be addressed. And why those are in workshop level? Mostly because they're still in nascent stage. People are still thinking, oh, what to do in that, what not to do in that. So those are the real topics where you can go into, and maybe that excites you. Just to show you an example, this is like a snapshot from last year's ICML, where you can see a lot of topics like, these are workshop topics, like you can see like what are the challenges in deploying and monitoring machine learning systems, then tackling climate change with machine learning, then uncertainty and robustness in deep learning. So these are very recent fields that people are wanting to work on. So that can be your research topic. You don't want to work on a topic which people have worked from 1980s, right? You want to work on something which is like people are not talking about. I mean, that's how you will have more thirst for research to solve very, very new things. And also, like if I take a snapshot from last year's ICLR workshop, you will see really cool domains like AI for art and science, like deep learning for code generation, like deep generating models for highly structured data, not just images, but structured data. Then how socially responsible machine learning, like combating like privacy, accountability, interpretability in machine learning. So the idea which I want to give away, like if you want to quickly search for research areas and want to know what's going on in the space, pick up a good conference and look at its recent workshops and the new workshops. Right? So usually that's how I also started, and I really keep myself updated by following the workshops. Okay, so that's done. What if you can't come in collaborate with a university professor? Is it still end of a story of research? I would still say no. You can still be in a researchy domain. So what you can do is that try to reproduce a research paper from a top conference and journal, right? So focus on good papers who have code released. So you can follow paperswithcode.com. They have all the state-of-the-art papers with their codes. So and then when you have your own implementation, you can upload to GitHub. And so you may ask, well, how does it help me? So there are three benefits of that. Firstly, when you are reproducing a paper, you get yourself familiarized with some recent topics without worrying too much about getting into publication, because you are not doing something novel, you are reproducing, but you are learning something totally new, which is still in researchy phase. It's good for you, right? Then when you are uploading to GitHub and making it a public profile, it's the signature of your software skills. So I'm talking about now, I see a trend, good MS and PhD programs, professors I see are often telling out that we want students with good GPA, good machine learning skills, but do you also have a good software engineering skill? So uploading all this to your GitHub can create an impression, okay, the candidate is good in three skills also. And then if you reproduce one or two papers like that, it kind of builds up your portfolio of knowledge. Let's say this month you devote yourself like implementing a transformer model for computer vision. Okay, right. The next 2 months you devote yourself by diffusion models for generative modeling in deep learning, right? So it kind of builds up your portfolio, and you don't have to depend on anyone for getting out research, right? You read your papers, there are Reddit threads where discussing the papers, and the source code is already launched, right? So it's already released. So you can relate the paper with the code and then re-implement for yourself. And remember to give due credit to the main authors who really released the code. That's a good sanctity to enter into research. This is also something you can start from your university itself, right? And finally, so if even that doesn't work out, so there is always Kaggle, right? So Kaggle is something, well, people sometimes make fun of, that Kaggle is not a real life portray what's going on, but that's fine. At undergraduate level, I still feel Kaggle profile indicates your interest and proficiency in deploying ML models. So do take out time to take part in Kaggle competitions, write notebooks. Also, I have seen from some of my experiences, it really helps a lot if you write research blogs on recent papers. So let's say you read a paper, and then how can you make an impression out of it? You can write the paper, the maths behind it in a blog more elaborately. Maybe you can explain the paper, some algorithm with a better pseudocode. So how does it help? Like if you write on Medium or data science, all of this like gives a boost to your CV or your selection, right? Because if somebody sees that, okay, this is a graduate coming out of college, doesn't have research paper, that's nice. But this shows all of your interest, right? That you're constantly trying to stay connected with research world. We have to agree, like not all of you will get chance to publish papers at undergrads. But that I'm trying to say is that should not stop you from thinking that doing research is not possible. These are all the avenues. If you do at an undergraduate level, it's still considered that you're interested in research, and it should definitely help you in your research pathway for getting jobs or admits later on. These are all good signs for you as a candidate to have. And then a question that comes up is that if you take up a job as a SWE, does it kill all of your opportunities to do research? Like, okay, the first day campusing, you got a job in your dream company as a SWE, and then, oh, I can't do research for the rest of my life. Is that true? Well, again, it's a big absolutely not. I won't go into philosophical stuff that, okay, life is big, you will do something. No, I will talk with facts. So most of the major companies that you go into will have a research division. So let's say Google has got the Google Research, Brain, DeepMind. Microsoft has its Microsoft Research. Amazon has got its research unit. Qualcomm has got its Qualcomm Research. TCS has Tata Research. Infosys has its own research lab, if you know. Wipro does a lot of computer vision stuff. So the bottom line is you might get a job immediately after undergrad in the traditional or per se SWE domain. Everything is SWE, so I should say SWE and research SWE. But you might enter as a SWE domain, but what you can do is that you can try to collaborate or show interest with those research counterparts team and keep yourself academically refreshed. Like if they want to take an interview of you in 1 month down the line, make yourself here. You remember your linear algebra, you remember your probability, you remember your computer graphics, and usually try to see if your company allows to do, let's say, a 20% side project, because you can spend some of your time working on a research project with the another team. And then what is the ultimate goal? The ultimate goal is like you will try to take an internal transfer from your SWE role to a research SWE role. The name doesn't matter, but you get the point what I'm trying to say. So you can do an internal shift. But yeah, so that's I've seen a lot of my friends do that. And trust me, it's a proven fact. If you're serious, you can really walk along this path. And so this is one thing to keep in mind, that getting a sweet job doesn't necessarily mean end of your all research prospects. And then let's say you did your SWE and you like got rusty with your preparation, and you want to study new stuff. Like so research is this is one thing challenging. Like in research, you have to keep yourself updated. You need to have advanced knowledge of maths, computer graphics, prob I would say probability, but yeah, let's just stick to good maths as a general term. So what you can try to do is like along with your job, you can get yourself enrolled seriously, like in courses like offered by Udacity, Upgrad, any favorite portal of yours. So you get yourself like a data science specialization. Even if you're, let's say this is more appropriate for people who don't have data science background and you're already doing a job after undergrad, but you want to make a switch. So obviously you need to educate yourself first to data science domain, right? So you can take up the serious courses, and then maybe I would say maybe you can try stepping into some promising startup and mid-sized orgs because they might be more interested in absorbing you. This is just my thought. Can work around the other way, and maybe after a few years when you are really confident, feeling that okay, I'm a good data science or AI practitioner, then whatever is your favorite dream company, research lab, you can try for that. Yeah, this thing might take around 2 to 3 years of time, but again, what I'm saying that there's still scope after SWE. There's still scope if you are not immediately from computer science or AI background to still go into your whatever is your dream research lab in AI. So this can be some of the pathways. Right. So I think we are having around 20 minutes more. I think that's some of the pointers I had to share out to you. And you can connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm very active there. I regularly post all the related topics, how to prepare, state-of-the-art algorithms, and what's going on in AI space. So yeah, I would like to conclude and take up questions, Ajay, if that's
Great.
okay.
Okay, great. I believe we can proceed with the questions. I think we have few interested questions that has raised in the chat. Let me go through that first. Uh, yeah,
Sure.
Abhijit Chakrabarti says that what path can be followed by people having non-engineering degree or non-engineering background? How does it helpful for applied research and all?
Okay. Okay. So engineering. So sorry. So is it like applied research? Uh, Okay, I can see the comment. What path can be followed by people having non-engineering degree
Yes.
to get into applied research? Okay. Great. Yeah, there is this conception that only engineering degrees are required to get into research jobs per se. But ultimately, I would say, let's be honest, what people really try to look at is like, how good is your data science knowledge? Like, so he has, Abhijit has written that like maybe a BSc student, right? So even if you're a BSc, there's no one holding you back to improve your maths and machine learning skills, right? Those are, I think, the two basic components. If you are good in that, and then as I discuss some of the pathways to make research profile by yourself, right? So I strongly feel if you're good in maths and you have built a decent research profile for yourself, then the candidate should be pretty well placed to be absorbed by a lot of organizations. I think the degree slowly, I think will go away, at least at beginner's level. But there are obviously PhD level jobs with this extreme specialization, but at least at beginner's level, data science and AI jobs, I think good companies who care about maths will not look much into degree, but your profile and your maths knowledge.
Okay. I believe, Abhijit, that answers your question. And moving to the next question, uh, Basak, yeah, I think Basak is looking for a PhD in US, I believe. That's what I'm figuring out from the question. He's asking for some recommendation for internship or industrial collaboration program in early PhD programs.
Okay, I can also read the starting. Can you recommend some internship collaboration program in early PhD program? Oh, in the US. Okay. Okay, so Ritam, I think in the US, the situation is a little bit different what in India. Usually in the US, the professors have a lot of collaborative projects going on. In fact, a lot of PhD projects are kind of funded by yeah, industries themselves because they usually collaborate with good professors, right?
Yeah.
So, if that's what you are trying to look at in a very early stage internship, I would recommend going into labs where you see there are people working directly with research labs. So, for example, let's say I'm just calling out names like let's say Snap. Snap, I know works with a lot of Stanford professors. Like Facebook works with a lot of professors. So you need to identify if your professor is collaborating with any of these research labs, and it's kind of transparent, right? Because if you see their recent 1 or 2 years paper, it will be evident if you have any names from these corporations. So that means there's a collaborative project going on. And usually when there's a collaborative project, there's a good chance you can spend your summer as an intern. So I think that would be a filtering criteria if initially you want to seek for internships immediately after joining PhD.
Got it. And a follow-up question from Basak itself, like, should we focus on DS Algo for jobs in PhD, job after PhD?
Right. Yeah, Ritam. Yeah, to be honest, yes. Because so here's the thing. So maybe when you go after PhD, the number of coding rounds decrease, no doubt, compared to when you are applying as a SWE after undergrad. But all the good companies, the best companies out there, they will surely have some kind of a coding round because yeah, I don't blame that. At least they would want to see your basic data structure. That's the core of computer science is good. So yeah, my short answer would be yes, but that's not the most selection criteria. I would say that carries about 30-40% weightage because all this research interviews also take up 2 or 3 rounds. So you should still consider preparing for DSN algo. Let's say when you're starting to write your thesis, 2 or 3 months you have your mind in hand, that's the time you should start.
Okay, great. I believe that answers Hetam. So don't limit yourself. Practice on the things that you might lead you to the goal that you are looking for. Okay, so moving ahead with the next question that we have resourced from the audience itself. what careers are available in the field of AI and what do they require?
Yeah, yeah. That is the AI field is very broad, right? So yeah. So there are loads of jobs like that. I can stop if I start naming those. But yeah, but I can broadly classify it into domains. Like there are jobs related to natural language processing. Then there are jobs related to computer vision. Okay, those are the two things that people know. Okay, now AI is starting to create impact in other domains. Let's say I would name out something. Let's say agriculture. As you might know, like there are many startups coming up. They're using the they're using the computer vision techniques, data analysis predictions from satellite images and sensors placed in the oil, but for monitoring agricultural yields. So you can see Microsoft Forms, Microsoft Azure has got a component there. They look into agriculture from a cloud computing perspective. And then there are companies, then there are avenues for medical or not medical, I would say bioinformatics. Like AI is drastically changing how we design drugs. So machine learning in drug discovery is a very big industry booming up. You need a lot of machine learning, computational modeling people in collaboration working with bioinformatics people. And then even if you are, let's say, from basic sciences like maths or physics background, um, I was just today only talking to one of the juniors. So you might have seen press releases from DeepMind where they are where they are simulated to control a nuclear reactor fission based on reinforcement learning. So that's a very tough physics problem which is being solved by reinforcement learning.
Yes.
Then also DeepMind recently came up with something called DeepFold, which solved like a very age-old problem of predicting 3D structure of proteins, again with machine learning. So what I'm trying to say, if we are concentrating on the maths of machine learning, irrespective of whatever is your major, you will find job across all spectrums. I mean, there is no spectrum, I think, where AI has not touched,
Yes.
even like fundamental fields like physics. So if you follow posts of Jan LeCun, right? So he keeps on posting so many cool physics experiments now being simulated with deep learning. And that's a path forward also, because most of these physics problems don't have close-bounded analytical solutions. They need numerical simulations. But they also have a lot of training data. So if you can train your models, you also get decent predictions what you do with numerical simulation. So if you're good, so if you're concentrating on maths, that's I always say that keep that baseline strong, and then whatever is your major, be it computer science, chemistry, physics, civil, or how can I forget manufacturing? Then manufacturing, AI is revolutionizing manufacturing community by a large extent, like detecting workplace hazards, finding out defects in products, everything with image processing. It's like taking to a next level. So I think that answers the question. So if you're doing the basic ML and maths correct, whatever is the major, you will sure find the so-called AI job. Yeah.
Got it. I think that answers the question. I think most of the viewers might have found out your answers on that. Which brings to the next question, which is related to the payout. So everyone would be interested to know about what kind of pay that they would be getting out of a AI related job, because in current industry or in current era, everyone are into SDE or else data engineering or these kind of roles, right? So what kind of views that you want to portray over here in terms of payouts?
Yeah. So if in terms of payouts, it's not that you will see much difference between HD and a research software engineer. I mean, because both of them are solving software problems.
Yes.
So yeah, that's my short answer. I mean, there's nothing extra in terms of monetary benefit that if that's a point to consider before delving into this domain, then I haven't, at least in many of my offers, have not seen any such difference. Because when you graduate out as a PhD, you join at a certain level in any organization, and they give you consistent pay, whatever that pay is, and they don't discriminate between like a SWE or a research SWE or a research scientist. So you're always at some level, like LX, X plus one, X plus two, and that salary is always based on that level. It's just if it excites you to work on research problem every day, then you shift to this. But the monetary aspect, I think it's more or less same. No
Okay.
advantage there.
Okay, so what I can take it from here is if you're really interested in the domain or what exactly that you are doing, monetary benefits doesn't affect, or else you might be provided with the expected payouts that you are looking for. Yep, and yeah, which leads to the next question. What I want to quote it on this particular part is like, let's say there are a lot of job roles or a lot of roles that the young fresher or else audience would be looking after. It is not just about MLAI or data science, right? So once we are entering to MLAI data science related job fields, is that so that there are a lot of projects related to MLAI data science, or else is it limited projects to work on, and is it hard to work on those projects from a reputed company?
Okay. So is your question if there is limit, if there is dearth of openings, or sorry, I
Yeah,
didn't get the essence of the question.
about the openings and about the projects, the number of projects, reputed projects which a fresher or else an experienced person can work on.
Right, right. Yeah, yeah. Yes. So firstly, there are, I would say there are abundance of possibilities of applying ML. So you will see that's maybe one of the main reasons why if you just type in LinkedIn ML jobs, just thousands come up because everyone is trying to solve every business problem with ML, right? So job openings are quite often, I would say. And speaking in terms of whether most of them are fresher related, but I would honestly say no. They a good amount of those jobs require very specialized knowledge. But there, as because companies are solving ML problems at scale, so there are also entry level problems that are being solved. So I won't say that there is. I won't like to think that there is lack of openings now for freshers. It's just uh, it's still not channelized nicely to hire research students because in India we have this notion that okay, you graduate out, there will be some campus recruitment
Hirings.
event, and most of you get recruited as D. It's just that the research hiring, I think it's picking up, that's why I asked like if you apply offline, off campus, network with people, there are tons of openings there. It's just that I think on just on the recruitment day, the researchy component of the projects don't come out. And also, one of the reason is that it's very tough to predict the research headcounts very beforehand because you keep on thinking on new ideas, you solve, some of them don't work out. And if something works out and then you feel, oh, I need more people. And by that time, I think the campus placement season is gone. So that's, I think, something which I think it will get better with time. But to encourage the candidates and students out here, like there are plenty of AI and ML jobs out. You just need to find the right channel to apply to.
Okay, great. So, yep, candidates, stay tuned for the jobs related to MLEI, and you can find the better company that you are looking for, and you can apply for the same. Yeah, moving forward with the next question, Yashaswini asks, are there any professors working on fairness and bias mitigation who is open for, if I am pronouncing it properly?
Yeah, yeah, essentially, maybe we can take it offline because yeah, right now I know there are professors, I don't remember the names. Uh, uh, so I don't know if Yashasvi is talking about in India or abroad. I know the computer science department in IIT Kharagpur works to some extent on fairness, and IIT Jodhpur uh, has got a computer vision lab who look at fairness in facial recognition. So maybe I can take this offline instead of calling out names in public of professors.
Great.
But I gave you hints. So IIT Kharagpur has got a team in computer science who does fairness, and IIT Jodhpur computer vision team does. Uh, right. And that's why I said, like, yeah, if you really want to know who are the biggest people or the most prominent people working on this, if you go to ICLR or ICML workshops recently, they will have definitely tracks on fairness. And usually these workshops are conducted by the top researchers or professors. So that's why you can really narrow it down to the set of people who are really interested, because they're taking out time from their schedule to hold a workshop. That's the best avenue to search for good professors.
Okay, great. Yeah, Yashaswini, so you can follow the steps that Abhishek had mentioned, or else you can follow him over LinkedIn. I think he might, if he's free, he might able to give you some suggestions on that part. And coming to the next question from Mr. Singh. Any suggestions on how to build a deeper mathematical understanding behind the research papers in MLAI models?
Okay, behind research papers. That's the question is super generalized, but well, I mean, from traditional ML, I think Darius is asking maybe about deep learning, because traditional ML is mostly about math, so there's no uh, like fuzziness in that. But okay, so I get the point. So how to understand the maths behind the research papers? Yeah, sometimes it's tough to understand all the derivations that people write out in their papers, because there are page constraints in paper and you can't write down all the steps. Yeah, yeah, I agree to that. So what I try to do is that if it is a good paper, like don't start reading all papers that come out. If it is a good paper and you really want to derive the equation that is causing you problem, give it a shot, and then whatever portion you can derive up to, and then contact the authors that, okay, I could derive up to this point, like, can you give a pointer, how you got to the next step? That's one. If the authors don't reply, usually they reply if it's a good paper from a good research lab, then I would suggest that if it's a good paper, then there will be discussion forums on Reddit with good papers. So Reddit is the platform where I think people are like usually more nerdy or more researchy people go there and just create out derivations and codes. So you can join any Reddit research group and just post, hey, can somebody help me decipher this? And trust me, you will not be the only one stuck there. As soon as you join some groups, you will find a lot of people stuck there. So yeah, it's a little bit roundabout process, but yeah, what to do? People can't always write full mathematical derivations. But I think these two steps at least should give you some pointers to start off with if you really want to get all the detailed explanation of the maths derivation in the papers.
Okay, great. I believe that answers. Viewers, if you have received your answers, you can just let us know in the chat for our better understanding. Uh, till the time, I'll proceed with the next question. Preetham Rai asked that, do the fresher get to work on ML projects after entering any product-based companies right after the graduations?
Uh, it really depends at what profile they hired you, right? So when you are signing up when you are opting to sit for their interview, you must have seen their job description because if was if it was a no usual SUI position, then so here's the thing. Let's be honest. So if it's they hire you just start making impact in their ML, but if they're hiring you, especially saying that this is an ML team, then obviously they're hiring you to make impact. So immediately after graduation, yes, I have seen people entering the top research labs and start working on actual products or research which is meaningful to the company. But you need to make sure that you are entering in that profile and not as a general SWE profile. So yeah, keep your hopes up. As I said, as because there are now a lot of problems to be solved. So even when you graduate out, I mean, at undergrad, you do a lot of coursework, right? Nobody can take it out from you. Like, so you are already quite ready to start creating impact. We don't solve really massive, complex problem. We do solve, but there are a lot of problems which can be solved with undergraduate knowledge also.
Okay, great. I believe that answers. And yeah, we are at the end of the session. Any questions, any last one or two questions that we can take if there is any major thing that the viewers are looking for? We'll be open for one or two questions, last questions.
Yeah, sure. Ankit has asked how to switch from networking to machine learning.
You can answer that if you want to.
So this is Ankit's question. He asks like how to switch from networking to machine learning. Uh, uh, so here's the thing. Again, ML is now really being used for designing wireless networks. So how to switch? That's I mean, you study your ML and maths. That's how you switch. But are there opportunities? That's the bigger question. So yes, there are. So if you look at how companies like Qualcomm, how Qualcomm companies like Verizon and Cisco are trying to integrate ML into the telecommunication and networking domain, you get an idea that those people are still trying to solve your usual telecom problems, but now they are trying to bring more predictive analysis, more, let's say, automated analysis. Like what you do, like in a telecom network, you try to predict the traffic over a particular node, right? So that's like predicting a time series. I wouldn't be very surprised if people start using LSTMs to do this prediction. And I have seen papers doing that. So I would encourage that you first look at some of the recent works done by these telecom companies and some of the white papers there. So a good way to know is that some of the white papers that these companies give out, like, okay, 5G, what is Qualcomm say on that? How are they trying to say? What is Verizon saying on 5G and AI? What is their stake? So every company, trust me, telecom, healthcare, every company is having AI in that. So how to switch is that you just be good in ML and maths, and as soon as you find an opening and apply. So if you're good in networking and good in maths, all the good companies give you a launch pad to prepare yourself to integrate. And that's a sign of a good company. And yeah, this is a very right time to make all these switches in career.
Great. Okay, I believe that answers. And as we are end of the session, before I conclude, or else there is an important information that I need to put it out at the end. Before I do that, I would like to ask Abhishek on this current session, how was the session, and would you like to address anything to our audience related to the same field, research or AI or anything that they are looking for? Any suggestions or any views that you want to portray?
Okay. Yeah, firstly, like, I really loved this session. It went on very nice, seamlessly.
Great.
Good arrangement, Ajay. Congrats to the team.
Thank you.
Uh, and my suggestion, that makes me feel like I'm a very senior person. So I would like say, like, as an undergrad, previously, we all had a notion that if you're more into research, you might need to move to Europe or US. So people tend to shy away from doing research. So one good thing, everybody knows how to do research by doing MS PhD and get a good job in the US or Europe. But a good thing which has come up, and I should share with the undergrads and the students here, that even in India now, the research landscape is really taking up. The startup landscape is really taking up. So there are a lot of opportunities if you're good, again, if you're good in maths and ML, because this is about AI research. If you're good in maths and ML, there are a lot of opportunities even here in India also. So don't just think that you have to leave your country just because there are no opportunities. There's a lot of opportunities here. And yeah, and I'm sure if you follow any one of the four avenues, how I said, you can build up your research profile. So even if you're not from, let's say, IITs, this is one of the major drawbacks. Whenever I see people are not from IITs, they say, oh, I can't do research, I don't have good professors. But I think the other ways that I pointed out, building up your GitHub profile, working on research papers, paperswithcode.com, I think I have seen a lot of my friends and family who are not from even IITs, and then following the steps and then getting calls from good universities and good research labs. So if you really are passionate about research, which it should be, this decade is the most impactful decade that AI is going to have. It's a lot of makes and breaks, AI and Web 3.0 coming. Not just AI, so I also suggest Web 3.0 to undergrads. You should also start looking at cryptos and blockchain technologies. So yeah, it's a good time to study all this, and there are a lot of job opportunities in India. So keep yourselves optimistic.
Great. So I believe viewers, I think you have noted down all the important things that has been mentioned in the session. And one more good thing that I would like to announce over here, as Avisek Lahiri is a premium mentor of Verzeo, we would be having similar kind of talks and similar kind of sessions related to the things that you guys as audience are looking for, right? That might be related to research papers or might be related to AI fields or what exactly that interests you. We would be doing that in our future series, and we would be taking your inputs also, so that it will relate you, and it doesn't have to go ahead with one way approach that we follow. And I would like to ask all of you viewers to stay tuned and check out our posts and upcoming series and episodes that we would be going ahead with. We would be coming back again with Abhishek on series on AI, I believe, or something related to that which might interest you. So we'll definitely looking forward for that. That is one thing that I would like to mention about. And one more thing that we are introducing in the series, those are giveaways for the viewers who are interactive, and we do try to provide some kind of assessments in between the webinars or podcasts that we do. Stay tuned to that and check out our upcoming webinars. You will get a better understanding of the things that you might go forward for. Okay, so that would be the thing from my end, and thank you so much, Abhishek, for sparing your time and providing the talk to audience. And I believe it was useful for our viewers. Thank you so much. And before I end the session, viewers, there would be one more session that would be conducted tomorrow on cybersecurity and bug bounty hunting from Saga Jain. I would be adding that link in the chat. You can utilize it. Whoever is interested in ethical hacking or cybersecurity related things, you can check it out, and you can bring your friends who are looking for it, or else who want to know more about these kind of technologies, tools, or something like that. You can do that. And I would be taking attendance for this session for certification part. Participation certificate we would be providing it to you. I would be adding both the links in the chat. I would highly recommend you to fill the forms, so that at least we would be able to understand who all are interested for the coming webinars and who all have attended. So yep, that would be the thing, and that's all from my end. Again, thank you so much, Abhishek. That was a great session from your end.
Yeah, thank you, Ajay.
Thank you so much. Yep, that's all, guys.
Okay.
If you have anything, any questions, you can definitely reach out to us. Stay tuned to Verzeo. We provide similar kind of talks, webinars, podcasts, and you can follow us over LinkedIn or YouTube, or our social media handles. If you like the session, definitely you can click on like, subscribe, and if you want to share it to your friends, which you might feel like it would be useful for them also, you can definitely do that. uh, yep, that would be the thing. Thank you all, and I have already shared the link for tomorrow's webinar, and I would be adding the attendance form also. You can definitely fill it up if you need a certificate, participation certificate on the current topic that we are going ahead with. Any questions, guys? Great. I believe you have enjoyed it. That's all. Thank you so much, Abhishek.
Okay.
Bye
Okay. Thank
bye.
you. Bye
See ya
bye,
soon.
everyone. Bye.
Bye, guys.
See you.
Thank you. Visit Verzeo.com, subscribe to our channel to know more. Thank you. Visit Verzeo.com, subscribe to our channel to know more. Thank you. Visit Verzeo.com, subscribe to our channel to know more.